Have you ever felt like life betrayed you at the very moment you were about to shine? Like every ounce of effort, every early morning, every sacrifice meant nothing? Imagine training your whole life for a single moment, dreaming of victory, and then, just when everything seems within reach, your world falls apart. This is the story of Emily Carter, a young runner whose dreams almost slipped away, and how she discovered that the greatest victories often come after the deepest losses. Emily grew up in a small town in Colorado, where running wasn't just a sport, it was a passion that carried her through every challenge. From the moment she could walk, she ran. Before school, after school, even in the cold winter mornings when other kids stayed in bed, Emily was on the track. Her sneakers pounded the pavement as she trained tirelessly, building speed, endurance, and focus. Coaches called her the natural, classmates admired her dedication, and everywhere she went, she carried one goal: win the state championship. By her senior year, Emily had become unstoppable. Every race was a display of determination, speed, and heart. College scouts were already taking notice. Everyone said it was her time. The trophy was within reach. But life, as it often does, has a way of testing us when we feel untouchable. It happened during the state finals. The stadium was alive with energy, cheering families, waving banners, the scent of fresh grass in the air. Emily felt a surge of adrenaline as she crouched at the starting line, imagining crossing the finish first. The gun went off, and she surged forward, every step perfect. But halfway through the race, her foot landed awkwardly on the track, and pain shot through her ankle. She stumbled, fell to the ground, and watched as other runners passed by. The crowd gasped. Time seemed to stop. Her heart sank. Her dream, which had felt so close, slipped through her fingers in an instant. The days that followed were filled with doctor visits, physical therapy, and endless what-ifs. Friends tried to lift her spirits, but Emily couldn't see past the disappointment. She had trained her whole life for this moment, and now it was gone. She felt lost, angry, and broken. Yet, in the quiet of her room, a small voice whispered, not from her coach, not from her friends, but from deep inside her, that maybe this fall wasn't the end. Maybe it was the beginning of something else, something bigger, something that required courage she had never tested before. After her fall at the state finals, Emily felt like the world had closed in around her. The track she once loved now seemed impossible. The sneakers that had carried her for years felt heavy, as if they were made of stone. Every time she tried to jog even a few steps, pain flared in her ankle. Friends told her she would run again. Coaches reassured her that setbacks happen, but Emily couldn't hear them. Their words felt distant, like echoes from another life. For weeks she stayed inside, skipping practices, avoiding the track, and isolating herself from teammates. Her room was filled with trophies and medals from previous meets, now dust-covered symbols of what could have been. The more she looked at them, the more she felt a bitter mix of anger and sadness. She had given everything to running, and yet, in a single moment, it had betrayed her. Then one chilly afternoon, her mother knocked on the door. "Emily," she said softly, "I know it hurts. I know it feels unfair, but you've always been brave. And courage isn't only about winning races. It's about standing up when the world knocks you down." Emily shook her head. "But what if I'm not fast enough anymore? What if I can't run like I used to? Maybe my dream was never meant to happen." Her mother smiled, pulling her close. "Dreams aren't just about trophies, Emily. They're about heart, effort, and the lessons we learn when life challenges us. You can't give up now. You just have to find a new way forward." Those words lingered in Emily's mind. Slowly, cautiously, she began small steps. At first, she walked around the neighborhood, then gradually started jogging. Each step was painful, each lap exhausting. But with every stride, she remembered why she loved running in the first place. The freedom, the rush of wind, the thrill of pushing herself. One evening, she decided to take a risk. She signed up for a local 5K, not for glory, not for college scouts, but to test herself. She knew she might not win. She knew her ankle might protest. But she also knew that standing still forever was a greater loss than falling and trying again. Race day arrived. Emily felt nervous, her heart pounding like a drum. As the starting gun fired, she forced herself to focus on each step, each breath, each stride. She wasn't the fastest runner in the race, and at times she wanted to stop. But something inside her had changed. Her fear of failure had been replaced by determination. Every painful step was now a declaration. She wasn't done yet. When she crossed the finish line, she didn't win first place, but she felt something far more powerful. She had risked, she had tried, and she had conquered her own doubt. For the first time since her fall, Emily smiled, not because of a trophy, but because she had remembered the joy of running and the strength that comes from daring to face your fear. After the 5K, Emily felt a spark she hadn't felt in months, a quiet confidence that maybe, just maybe, she could reclaim her dream. But she quickly realized that getting back on track wouldn't be easy. Her ankle was stronger but still fragile, and every push forward came with fear lurking in the shadows. Could she really compete again at a state level? Could she trust herself to run without falling, without failing? Determined, Emily returned to the high school track for regular training. Early mornings brought frost-covered grass and biting cold, yet she laced her sneakers and ran. Each mile was a struggle, every sprint a test of both body and mind. Her teammates, who had moved ahead, now seemed almost untouchable. Watching them push themselves to the limit, Emily felt waves of jealousy and doubt. She wanted to quit. She wanted to retreat into the safety of what she could no longer lose. Then, her coach, Mr. Lawson, pulled her aside one morning. "Emily," he said gently, "running isn't just about speed. It's about resilience. It's about showing up even when the world reminds you of your limits. You've already proven you can do that. Now it's time to push further." His words stayed with her as she faced a grueling training session that afternoon. Every stride burned, her lungs screamed, and her ankle throbbed. Yet with each lap, she felt herself growing. Not faster yet, but stronger in a way she hadn't known before. She realized that falling hadn't ended her story. It had rewritten it. A few weeks later, Emily entered a regional qualifying race. This time the stakes were higher. College scouts would be watching, her competitors faster, the pressure intense. Halfway through, fatigue gripped her. She wanted to slow, to let someone else pass, to give in to the voice inside that whispered, "You're not ready." But she clenched her fists and remembered the morning she had run in the dark, the pain she had endured, the courage she had discovered in her heart. With every pounding step, she pushed herself further. Her breathing was ragged, her legs heavy, but she refused to stop. And then, in the final stretch, a surge of energy, she didn't know she had lifted her forward. She crossed the finish line, not first, not second, but in the top 3, qualifying for the state championship. Tears streamed down her face as she sank to the track, exhausted but victorious in a way she hadn't imagined. She had risked pain, fear, and doubt, and had come out stronger. For Emily, this wasn't just a race. It was proof that falling wasn't failure, and that courage grows when you refuse to let fear define you. The morning of the state championship arrived with a crisp autumn chill. The stadium buzzed with excitement. Cheering families, banners waving, cameras rolling. Emily stood at the starting line, her heart pounding not from fear, but from determination. Months of pain, doubt, and relentless effort had led to this moment. She knew she wasn't just running against the other athletes. She was running against every fall, every tear, and every moment she had questioned herself. As the starter raised the gun, Emily took a deep breath and closed her eyes for a fraction of a second. She pictured every early morning jog, every ice bath, every agonizing step of rehabilitation. She pictured herself falling at the state finals last year, feeling hopeless, and then choosing to rise again. The gun fired, and she surged forward, her legs strong, her mind focused, her heart steady. The race was grueling. Runners jostled for position, the crowd's cheers blending with the pounding of sneakers on the track. Halfway through, Emily felt her ankle protest, but she refused to let fear control her. With each stride, she remembered all the small victories that had brought her here. Finishing the 5K after her injury, qualifying at regionals, and every painful training session she had endured. Coming into the final stretch, Emily was neck and neck with the fastest runner in the state. Every muscle screamed, her lungs burned, but something inside her shifted. She wasn't just running for the trophy anymore. She was running for herself. For the girl who had fallen, who had doubted, who had almost given up. And in that moment, fear melted away, replaced by pure, unstoppable courage. With a final burst of energy, Emily pushed past the finish line, collapsing to her knees as the crowd erupted in cheers. She had done it. She had won. But more than the medal or the applause, it was the feeling of triumph over herself that filled her with pride. She had risked, struggled, and grown, and the victory was sweeter because it had been earned through perseverance, not luck. As she held the trophy in her hands, tears streaming down her face, Emily realized something important. Life would always test her, throw her off course, and challenge her limits. But falling didn't define her. Fear didn't define her. Courage, resilience, and the willingness to rise again did. She looked at her teammates, her coach, and the cheering crowd, and knew that this moment wasn't just about running. It was about discovering the strength that comes from refusing to give up. That night, Emily placed the trophy on her bedside table, but it was no longer the most important thing. The most important thing was what she had discovered along the way, that the human spirit can endure, rise, and triumph in ways no setback can ever take away. And from that day forward, whenever life knocked her down, Emily Carter would remember the track, the fall, the risk, and the victory that came from never giving up. What is the lesson we learn here today? Emily ran the race and won the trophy. But more importantly, she won the battle within herself. She learned the most important lesson a person chasing their dreams can ever learn. So, what is the lesson for us? It is simple. First, motivation is the spark that gets you moving. Emily's love for running and her dream of the state championship lit that spark. But discipline is the engine that keeps you going when the spark feels weak. Without showing up every morning, putting in the hard work, and pushing past pain and fear, she wouldn't have made it. A dream without action is like a car that just sits in the driveway making exciting noises, but going nowhere. Second, learn to love the process, not just the prize. The real reward isn't the trophy or the medal. The real reward is becoming the kind of person who can overcome setbacks, who can face fear and keep moving forward. The pride that comes from enduring the hard, boring work, the training, the rehabilitation, the long runs in the rain, is deeper and more lasting than the fleeting excitement of success. And finally, just show up, even when you don't feel like it. When you're tired, when you're frustrated, when every step hurts, that is when it counts the most. Don't worry about the whole race or the championship. Focus on the next step, the next lap, the next stride. That is how great things are truly built. Not by lightning, but by the steady, quiet, and unstoppable power of showing up day after day. I hope you found value in this story. If you did, please give this video a like, share it with your friends and loved ones who need to hear this message, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. We will meet again, and remember, falling is never the end. Rising again is where true victory begins.